y'all, I'm back with part 2 of the footstool makeover. Looks like part 1 did okay, so I'm going to keep it. And we're just going to keep going. I went all the way back around to double check that I had everything attached correctly, and I do. Pulled out all the pins, and now I also cut the little pieces of scallops that were right across the top here, because I've decided I'm not going to use it with that at the top. So I'll cut all of those off. Next, I have decided, before I get too much further, remember my first project, my first mixed media project that I told you about? Well, I dug it out. I went and got the box off the top shelf, and there it is. No, it was not on a paper plate. It was just Kleenex and glue. So I am going to assume I was 3 or 4 or 5 years old, and that I probably made my mother mad by using all of the Kleenex that we had. Oh, look, there's a piece of paper down in here. All glued together. So my very first lovely mixed media project, and it has lasted a lot of years. Evidently Elmer's works well. Okay, let's get this away from the glue gun. Okay, the next part I thought about doing is going to be down here at the bottom. I found this stuff that I don't use very often in my bookmaking or anything like that, so I thought I'd use it on here because I have quite a bit of it. I thought about tucking it down on this little ridge where the ruffle is, and just tacking that on there. It's not going to need a lot of glue or anything. I guess I really ought to find where that seam was. Right here. I'm sorry. I'm going to try to start it over here. I think I'm going to start with it first. I'm going to go from here up to finish the rest of it, because I have stuff that's going to hang from the top, and I don't want to have any interference while I'm doing the rest of the lower stuff. So I'm going to just go ahead and start low and end high. So this trim is like a ballet slipper color. It is a very pale pink, and it's really pretty. It's kind of like a silky finish to it, and I believe it's a corded edge. Is that what it's called? And it's probably intended to be an upholstery. You know, you stick it down in a seam, and then just that corded part would show. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use it on this. And the raw edge is down low enough in amongst all of these little gathers that it's not going to show at all. So it's turned. I'm really liking the way it's turning out. Color scheme is perfect for me. My pearls and lace. I do have some big old flat back pearls I'm going to be adding at the end somewhere. Don't know yet where. So I'll have my pink and cream and my pearls and lace. Just the way I like it. Part seems to be going very quick, which is good. Makes a fun little project I'm getting a lot of bang for the buck, so to speak, on this one. Because I like to have, I have 2 upholstered chairs in my room. And I like to have them, one of them near at hand. So that I can rest my back. Sometimes I'll watch the news or something. And then the other one I have on the other side of the room. And if I ever have any company, hint, hint, then I'll have a place to sit that's nice here too. Plus all of the office chairs. I could have a retreat here, I think. Get this turned. I'm running into all that ruffle I did not remove off the floor down there. I was looking in that box of my memorabilia from childhood, that ancient stuff, and I found some of the toppers from my birthday cakes down in there too. I was a Cinderella lover. I was Cinderella. Although I couldn't say Cinderella. I said Cinderetta as a kid, a little kid. And whenever anybody asked me what I was going to be when I grew up, I would always say Cinderella. So that's how the story goes. Don't remember it. But I do remember any birthday cake I ever had to have Cinderella on it. And I've got 2 of my birthday cake decoration toppers in there. They are the carriage from Cinderella. And one of them I noticed still has a doll. I'll have to pull that out. I know one of them broke. You know, that was however many years ago. And so I bet I can glue that back together. I'm going to get those out and show y'all. I am all over this ruffle here. Sorry, y'all. I got to kick that out of the way, or we're going to have technical difficulties. Okay. Then I thought, I was looking through my pink stash, and I thought this color would be really good to use. But I wasn't sure. See, the color is perfect. I wasn't sure because this is elasticized. I don't know what it's for or anything or where I got it. But I love the sheen that it has on this side. The other side's dull. And I thought, well, maybe I can just put it up here next and cover up this little plain Jane white or cream colored sheeting that I've left up here. So I think I'm going to do that next, because I do like that color. And I run over it as well. Oh, I really did. Sorry. Please stand by for technical difficulties. Okay, that glue has probably dried, but let's try it. Oh, good, it worked. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Not right there anyway. This is close. I have tried working with a high temperature glue gun before, and it and I don't get along. This is a low temp cheap Walmart AdTech brand glue gun, and we get along much better. I kept the high temperature glue gun, but I don't have very many high temperature glue sticks, and that's fine with me. I really prefer working at a slower pace and being more careful with the glue, because I tend to drop it and drip it and get burned. I have not suffered, thankfully, anything major in the way of a burn using a glue gun, so I'm thankful for that. I don't have a lot of space right there, but that's okay. I just have to trim over there. It's just for fun anyway. This is July, and I know a lot of people are working on Christmas in July projects, and I do not celebrate Christmas or Easter or Halloween or any of those holidays. Don't prefer to get into that, and so I don't do projects. You know, I don't make trees and ornaments and stuff, but what I have done is, I'm still watching the project, don't get me wrong. I'm learning a lot and having great ideas from y'all. But just on ways I can use it and utilize what you're doing with something else, or for another purpose. And instead of doing ornaments maybe to put on a tree, I'm using ideas that I have seen for, you know, my lace books and things like that. And so just because it's for Christmas or Easter or whatever doesn't mean I'm not watching it. But you're not going to see me do projects that are related to the religious holidays. And I don't want to get into that. It's just my personal business. We oops, mistake there. Let's see. We are Christians. We do believe that Jesus was born of a virgin. And we do believe he died on a cross and was raised again 3 days later. A whole 3 days and 3 nights, just like the Bible says. Not the Friday to Sunday morning that a lot of y'all might, you know, believe in and all. So if you want to discuss things like that with me, please private message me. I'll be more than happy to talk to you via private message. But anyway, just so y'all know, you know, I'm not going to be doing projects for holidays and stuff. And that's why. But okay, I'm almost all the way back around. And the next layer I'm going to work on is not the way I had drawn it out, which is, you know, really typical of what I do. I try to give myself a guideline and then I don't do it. But that's okay. Because as I did it, I didn't like it. So things will have to change. The next thing I did, I went ahead and pre-cut some doilies that I had. I bought a huge pile of doilies. They are not vintage, antique, or anything like that. But they are really good to be using for a project like this. Oh, come on, straighten up. I showed it to you on a previous video, I wasn't thrilled with them, and I'm going to be real outright and honest and say I was not thrilled with these. They were not this color. They were much lighter, but they were not white. When I bought them, they had a hideous smell. They smelled like they'd been soaked in some kind of petroleum, and they were moist feeling. I let them sit out for a number of days. Did not help. Put them out in the sun, left them out for months in hopes that that smell would dissipate. It did not. I had contacted the seller and she was not helpful. So beware what you buy. I laundered them. I still smelled that petroleum smell. So I laundered them again. And then I used, oh, I can't think of the name of it. It was one of those little square bomb looking laundry additives that you add to get all the stains out. I threw one of those in there and I'm thinking, okay, am I going to end up tearing these up or what? That got the smell out. There was no more moisture in them after they dried. And I also soaked them in dryer sheets. Like I laid a bunch of dryer sheets, lavender, just whatever I could find just to try to, I've tried everything, but I'm to the point now where they do not smell bad. And I was so happy to finally get to that point. So now I'm using them. I have coffee stained these. This is not tea, this is coffee. And one side of them is darker than the other because I lay them flat to dry, and the coffee that's still left in them goes to one side. So I want the darker side. Cut these in half. And I want the darker side outside to the exterior. And what I thought about doing next is along this little line that was on the background of this table runner. Along this line, I'm going to glue these little doilies that I've cut in half along that line. And it will be covered up with tassel trim on that raw edge. On each side, I'm going to put 3. And since I'm using 3 on each side, I want to do, find the right side here, darker side. I'm going to put the left side and the right sides together first, or on first, not together. I really need that spatula up here. Let's see if I can pull it. Let's strap it. That would come in handy. And then for the third one, I'm going to center it over the other two. Like that. So it'll be centered on each side of the ottoman. And this is going to go really quick. You can use any kind of doilies. These were so cheap, I decided I was just going to use these since it's just a footstool. I thought I was going to get a lot of bang for my buck, and it turned out the time I've spent trying to get these usable kind of bit into that time. But anyway, they are pretty. They're pretty little things. They're real thin. They drape well, and I use them a lot. I do, now that I've got them, you know, usable. But ask good questions, I think, is what I've learned from that when I buy in bulk. And these were bought in bulk. Are y'all excited for the Olympics to be coming up? I love watching the Olympics with my husband because he is a track and field lover. I mean, he is always watching track and field events. And I can carry my laces upstairs and do any number of projects while I'm watching TV with him. And yet we can still enjoy time together and having fun watching the races and stuff. But I gotta admit, I get bored easily. I really have to have something to do in my hand when it's a long race. Sorry about that. I don't guess any of you runners are actually watching my videos, so it doesn't matter, but... And then, of course, my favorite things are the girls, well, men's and women's gymnastics, I guess. As a kid, my sister and I did gymnastics all the time. The furniture was our gymnasium. And when Mom ran us outside, I finally taught myself how to do some stuff. And then our high school had gymnastics, and I was real excited about that because I was right in there. But boy, I was not very good. Couldn't even do a back walkover. And so I went outside in my front yard where the grass was beautiful, St. Augustine, thick, yummy grass. And if I fell in it, it didn't hurt too bad. And so I taught myself to do the back bends and a walkover. A back bend walkover, is that how it is? Yeah. Up against a brick stone wall. It started real low and then it got higher and higher, so it had like a ledge on it. And so I started at the very highest part, would do a back over, kick my leg, put my foot up and kick over until I could do it by myself all the way down. And that's how I taught myself to do just a back walk over. I never was able to do flip flops and stuff like that. I didn't have that capacity. But I still love gymnastics. I am absolutely thrilled with our team this year. And can't wait for the Olympics to see what these girls and guys do. It's going to be exciting. When I was in school, there was a whole lot of people that were in my school. I lived in the Dallas area of Texas and went to a very large high school. Very large, and it's even bigger now. Thankful I'm not there now. But I didn't know everybody in my class. We all kind of had different lives. Everybody was interested in different things. And a lot of people that are in large high schools find out that later years, there's people that you may have been in the same class with and you just don't remember because there were just so many people. I don't remember all the names of everybody I went to school with, unfortunately. I did keep my yearbooks, and I have to look up things a lot in my yearbooks to see if I was in the same class with somebody that's on the news or something. Oops. Get that back up there. And now that I'm so old, I don't, in another state now, I don't hear about anything now, but when we were in school, we had a little group of friends, and depending on kind of what your interests were for your extracurricular activities. If, for example, I played the violin, and I was in the orchestra the whole time I was in school, and so the people that I spent time around also did the same things I did. And My sister, for example, I had a cord. My sister, for example, was in the band, and they called them the band weenies, but we were the orc dorks. I was thinking about that the other night and what a silly name that was. But I guess just it rhymed and it stuck. Band weenie, I don't understand where that came from. But I've got to tell you, in Dallas, I actually was in Richardson. Some of y'all watching may be familiar with the area, but the band and orchestra programs at my high school, even junior high, were amazing. And I was blessed to be a part of it and be able to have that experience, because when I went to college, I was able to just jump right in and be a part of that. Got a degree in music education, and I don't teach hardly ever. I've had students and taught a few classes over the years, but I've got to tell you, I don't enjoy it. I didn't like it at all. I preferred being a secretary to being a teacher. Okay, this part's done. And I'll quit rambling about that. Now, all 3 sides are covered, and I like it a lot. That is cute. Okay, my next thought was to do around this edge and to cover up these raw edges. And I'm going to try this again. Let me see if I can remember my order here. I think I had decided I was going to do this trim that I also coffee dyed. I stained it. It's darker on one side than the other as well. Let me see if I've got a right and a wrong side to this that I have to watch out for. Yeah, I think I do. There. I thought I would do this next. And I need to find that edge. Oh, yeah, I gotta turn this back around, y'all. Sorry. All the raw edges on the same spot. Okay. I think I'm going to pin that up here real quick and take a look at it and see if I like this. And I think I do. And I'm running into the glue that I've used previously underneath that. There's my problem here and here. So I can just get it to hold for a second. Okay, my idea is to take this first. Then I've got this pink cotton fringe. I don't use it in my books. And it's long enough to go all the way around here. I thought about putting it just under that scallop right there. And then on top, I've got a twisted light color cord, cream color cord I was going to put on top of that. And that would be finishing it out. So I think I am going to do that. I like the way that looks. My cord is not going to reach that far. And this way I can cover up the raw edge up here. I should have just made this a big old pin cushion, huh? It looks like it would have made a good one. I do like this dangle lace quite a bit. Not a fan of the eyeballs here. Cat eyes, whatever you want to call them. Things look like... I don't know. I don't like being stared at, so I don't prefer the eyes. So I'm going to cover those eyes up. I guess I can use that spatula again. I like this because this is a darker color underneath it and it makes that stand out. So that's why I went with the darker color under. And since I was going to put the fringe right in here over the eyes, then I think that'll make a good ending for it. Oh, I do not like oozy glue. Get that off of there. Nice, I'll be covering that up. Huh? Okay. Got the original in the red material back there has a little handle on that, and I folded it over and pinned it down underneath all this, and yet it still gives me a little bit of a bulge right here. So if you see that, that's what that is. And again, if you're bored watching this, just click to the end so you can see what I ended up doing. I hope it turned out well. Don't like there. Boy. I keep, in this Rascog cart, I keep lots of little glass dishes of bling